Hi, it's Chris, and welcome to the Colecovision High Score Throwdown, Episode 3. This episode, we're looking at Donkey Kong by Nintendo from 1982, and why we treat it a little differently on the High Score Throwdown. Donkey Kong holds a special place in the Colecovision library. In the United States, it was the pack-in game at launch of the Colecovision in 1982, and changed the battleground in the early console wars. But this is a different time in the console wars. This was before the fight between Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Wait, this was before the fight between Nintendo, Sony, and Sega. Wait, this was before the fight between Nintendo and Sega. Wait, this was during the fight between Atari and Mattel, with the upstart Coleco joining the fray. Donkey Kong on the Colecovision was one of the first attempts, as their marketing strongly put out there, to bring the arcade home. The Colecovision hardware was more powerful than either the 2600 or the Intellivision, and went toe-to-toe with Atari's second-generation console, the 5200. The 5200 ColecoVision fight was the first version of the gaming public dealing with, at the time, next-generation hardware. Donkey Kong was one of the first killer apps in how it strongly differentiated the ColecoVision from the 2600 and the Intellivision. This port, done by Zachary Smith of Coleco, was used to showcase the hardware. Mario is done by overlaying 3 different colored sprites to get the arcade look. The level layout has been altered slightly due to a change in screen orientation. There are 3 levels: the barrel level, the rivet level, and the elevator level. The Pie Factory is not present in this port. The rivet level layout is different than the arcade, with 3 instead of 4 levels, and is not blue. The elevator level is missing the dropping girders from the arcade. All 3 screens are a decent representation of the arcade. When you score 10,000 points, you earn an extra Mario. This does not happen at other 10,000 point score increments, so you can only earn 1 extra life in the entire game. As a 14-year-old in 1982, I was blown away by the graphics of the ColecoVision Donkey Kong. I had played the 2600 version, and like other 2600 arcade ports, it was evocative of the arcade version, but was very stripped down. Both the 2600 and the Intellivision only had the ramps and rivet screens. The ColecoVision was the only version that had the elevator screen in 1982. There was enough in the ColecoVision version that looked right to make an early 80s gamer fall for the marketing line of the arcade being home. Licensing by Nintendo of Donkey Kong at the time was very interesting. Coleco scored the console versions, but Atari would get the home computer rights. The version Atari would release in 1983 for their 8-bit computer line would be the first time the Pie Factory would show up on a home system for years. Later versions on the Atari 7800 and even the NES would have the same 3 levels that ColecoVision would feature. Well after the end of that generation, some clever folks would port the Atari home computer version over to the 5200 since the hardware is essentially identical. There are 3 primary issues with Donkey Kong and why we don't use it as a competitive game in the High Score Throwdown. First is difficulty. The gameplay video that is running is me playing ColecoVision Donkey Kong with a standard ColecoVision controller on skill level 4. It simply isn't that difficult. The differences between skill levels appear to be a minor tweak to speed of barrels and fireballs, and how many barrels that Donkey Kong spawns in the ramp level. That difficulty never gets any different. The fireballs aren't that aggressive in how they chase Mario, and the biggest issue generally becomes player endurance. The second issue is glitches and bugs. ColecoVision Donkey Kong has a well-documented bug that can cause Mario to warp off the level with the bonus counter only losing between 2 and 400 points depending on player skill. I'm not good at forcing this bug, but Google it and you can see how easy it is to do. The hammers also have some inconsistencies in them that lets you turn off the hammer by falling off a ramp level but dying in the same mechanic in the rivet level. Unlike the arcade, Mario must make contact with a fireball or barrel with the character sprite and not the hammer sprite. The collision detection on the hammers can also be a little finicky, so picking them up is inconsistent. The third issue is the game scoring. The player score only tracks to the 10,000th place. When you score 100,000 points, the score rolls over, and there is no indication of what level you are currently on. That makes Donkey Kong on the Colecovision a pretty easy game to roll the high score on. Spoiler, if you stay to the end of the gameplay section, I roll the score. The rolling of the score and the lack of a level indicator is the driving reason why we don't use it as a competitive title. So what do we think of Donkey Kong? Personally, I really like this port, despite its easiness. It has great sound and is a nice, nostalgic, if incomplete, take on the Nintendo arcade classic. It's hard to play and not be transported in your mind to your parents' basement playing video games as a kid. On a Super Action controller, I don't like the feel of the trigger buttons for a jump mechanic in a game. The joystick feels better than the stock knob, but the buttons ruin this particular game for me with the Super Action controller. The nostalgia is thick on Donkey Kong, and it gets a solid B. So grab your copy, turn on your ColecoVision, Phoenix, or even an emulator, and go save Mario's girlfriend. We won't be submitting high scores on Donkey Kong, but it still is a great time. Until next time, game on!
Thank you.